Welcome to the Digital Marketing Tips and Tricks Podcast, brought to you by Siva Solutions, where we love to bring and show our listeners real and proven results.
Welcome, Digital Marketing Tips and Tricks Podcast listeners, to our third episode, where we'll be talking today about how to get found on the first page of Google. And when you're trying to basically get on the first page of Google, there is a lot of different ways of going about it. And if you go on Google, you're going to run into many different articles, and you're going to see most people out there are only giving you 4 or 5 ways of doing it. But in all reality, you'll go and implement those 4 or 5 things that they're talking about, and you're realizing it's still not enough. Okay. So there's a lot of different ways of going about it, and what works today is probably not going to work in a couple of years from now, or maybe even a year. Because Google does change a lot of different things up on a regular basis, and they're always making updates, and they really don't want people to know all the details on what they look for. They sort of leave it up to the experts or the people that are doing this type of work. They're pretty much leaving it up to you to figure it out. Okay, yes, they leave hints. Yes, they do release some updates. But that's as far as they go on that. Okay, and there are a couple of ways of going about it. I'm going to mention 3 different ways. You can get found with your blog by blogging. You can get found with your website, or both. You can get found with your Google business listing. You can get found by landing pages. If you create some landing pages, pay Google for AdWords and pay-per-click, you'll get up on the first page immediately, fairly quick. Okay, but that does take a good amount of money to do. And if you don't have that, your alternative is to start with SEO. But when you do go with SEO in trying to get on the first page of Google, there's a lot of research that you should probably do before you even get started. Some of the research is, I always say, find out what your competitors are doing. So go online for your industry and what you're trying to do, and see who's already on the first page. Okay, reverse engineer exactly what they're doing. Take a look at their website, how it's structured, how their meta tags are structured, their pictures, the content that they have, the length of their blog posts, the speed of their website, the type of engagement they have, if you can try to find that out. In their keywords, they did a lot of long tail. They do a lot of short tail keywords. Are their blog posts? How are their blog posts? Are they long? Are they short? Okay, by you reverse engineering what your competitors are doing, it gives you a head start. At least you know what they are doing to get there, and you can do some similar things. But if you realize that their blog posts aren't long enough, or maybe they're not blogging, they're only doing 1 blog per month, well, you can go in and do what they're doing, but instead of doing 1 blog post, you can go in and do 2 or 3. Okay, and follow the same techniques and strategies, but just do a little bit more now. By doing that research, you can figure all of these things out that I mentioned to you. You'll be able to know what they're doing, and that can give you a head start. And you're basically not reinventing the wheel, if that makes sense. Okay, so for our sake, we're going to start off with your website. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of different things. The speed, is it mobile friendly? The meta tags and the meta descriptions. How is all of that stuff filled out? One maybe tool, or one little tip here for your meta tags is try to make it as engaging as possible. Maybe answer a question that your customers are always looking for or typing up in. If you can put that type of that type of content on your meta tags and your meta descriptions, Google can bump you up just because of that. So I say, try to use good ad copy. Maybe use a lot of adjectives, a lot of, it's known that a lot of consumers and people like adjectives. So maybe those, that can give you some tips for your meta tags and your meta descriptions. But those are some things, that Google is looking for. Your URL, if you had the domain a long time or a while, if the longer you've had it, then the better off you are. The type of content you have. Are you writing for humans? Is it engaging? Are people clicking? Are they sharing your stuff? Engagement is really, really important. So the more engagement and the more people share your stuff and the more traffic you have on this website or this blog, the better off you'll do. Okay, if you are going to be blogging, if you have a website, I recommend putting a blog on that website and do at least 2 or 3 blog posts per month, and do have them lengthy and put some keywords in there, structure it the right way, but also try to do some roundup posts. So for whatever space you're in, whatever industry you're in, reach out to your experts and interview them. And you can ask them all the same, very similar questions, and then write a blog post about that, and then link it to them, and then let them know that you did this, and if they can share it to their audience as well. Okay, again, what that does, it links it to other people. Now they might do the same for you in return, and they're sharing your stuff. So you are getting in front of more people by doing all of that. Okay, have good backlinks. You just don't want a million backlinks. You do want them on credible websites. The more credible the websites are for those backlinks, then Google can push you up fairly up, fairly to the front because of good quality backlinks. It's just not about having a lot, it's about the quality of them. Okay, same thing with your keywords. It's about the quality of the keywords. Can't go in there just saturating the whole entire website. It has to make sense. It has to be in the right spots as well. And it has to, like I said, at the end of it all, it has to make sense to the reader. Okay, if you're just putting them in there in just random different spots, Google's going to find that out very, very quick and push you as far down as possible. Okay, and I did mention a term in there, long tail keywords. Those type of keywords are usually easier to rank for, so you can start getting on the first page fairly quick with those type. But I do recommend doing a mixture of both, long tail and some short term ones, so you get all aspects of it. Okay, add listings for yourself on different directories that are out there for your type of industry and your field. So that's also something you want to do. Again, it goes back to credibility, not quantity. So make sure that if you are listing yourself on different directories and different websites, make sure that for one, it pertains to your space and to your industry. And for two, you fill out everything properly, link it back to your website, and update that information on a regular basis. If anything changes, make sure you go back and update it as well. Reviews are highly important. They can definitely help you with your Google business page and making sure, if you have a lot of reviews, you respond back to those reviews. It shows Google that you are engaged with your customers, you're active, and you provide a good quality service. Again, it's all going back to credibility and trust. And the more of that you can create for Google to pick you up, then the easier it is going to be for you. The further they're going to push you to the first page of Google. Okay. I always say optimize your social media pages as well by optimizing them and linking it back to your website. Putting a link on your website directly to your social media platforms is great. It makes sense for Google. You're basically organizing all the information that's out there on the internet, so Google can pick it up and it makes sense for Google. And the better you do that, then the better they're going to push you to the front. So that's why I say you have to know what your competitors are doing, and you have to do it better than they do. If you do that, then you're going to get to the first page of Google. Okay, so I left you with quite a bit of information, a lot of different tips here. You can go out and try them on your own. Let me know how it definitely worked out for you. But I'll finish off the podcast with that. And until next time, take care and have a good one.
Thank you for joining us for this episode. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show, and visit civasolutions.com to listen and watch more resources about today's topic.